good morning, Australia. This is a really early start for us here on a Saturday morning. Huge big welcome for all of you, no matter where you've joined us from the world. It may be afternoon or night for you. But we just say a massive big welcome. We are so excited about this webinar this morning. And of course, a huge welcome to our special guest today, Dr. Skip Campbell. Skip, you have no idea how long we've been waiting for this webinar for. Australians are all asking for you constantly. I know we are always saying to Pam, we want to hear Skip, we want to see Skip. So we are very honored this morning that you've joined us. And I know it's late. It's almost evening time for you on a Friday in the States. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate your time. Guys, please, absolutely, as you join this meeting, we have got the settings to mute you, but please, if you're not muted for some reason, if you could please mute yourself. Thank you so much. So let me introduce you this morning to myself. My name is Charlotte Venter. I live on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. I've been here 17 years, moved over from South Africa and with my beautiful family, and really adopted this country as we've been adopted, and we just absolutely love Australia, favorite place in the world. And as I said, I live on the Sunshine Coast. I'm married to my hubby Andre for 27 years, and we have two beautiful children, Robin, who's 21, isn't that a great age, and Brandon, who's 24. And guys, I'm super passionate about helping every single Australian to discover what we've discovered, and hence our webinar this morning. We have discovered something incredible that is so important for our health, and we want to share that with you today. And not just share it, our stories, but share an amazing story that Dr. Skip Campbell is going to share with you today. Now, Skip and his wife, Jill, live in Utah in the USA. Dr. Skip is a qualified chiropractor and had his own practice for 17 and a half years. That seems like a really long time, Skip. That's as long as I've lived in Australia. And guys, I'm really interested to hear Skip's story this morning on how he discovered our product, Protandim. That's what you're on this webinar for this morning. We want to introduce this product to you and explain to you what it does in your body and why it is essential for you to have this product and take it daily. And then, of course, Skip is going to share a little bit about how he discovered the product and how he's moved from his own practice to actually helping thousands and thousands of people feel better, look better, just operate better, have more energy on this product. So Dr. Skip Campbell, we are so honored to have you join us. Thank you so much. I'm going to start off with your first question and ask you to share a bit of your background as a chiropractor and as an entrepreneur.
All right. Thanks, Charlotte, for having me. And of course, my wife and I love Australia. We've been there together. And if anybody would ever invite us back, we'd come back. But we love the Australian people, except for the one weird thing is we woke up one morning, our first time out there, and I ran down to Burger King because I wanted a croissant, a sausage croissant, and it came with barbecue sauce on it. How weird is that? So that wasn't my phone, honey. I need those questions. So thanks for having me on. Anything I can do for you guys down under, I'll be happy to do. I practiced for 17 years. Before that, I was in the military. And I went into chiropractic because I thought that if I owned my own business, I would have time freedom. And I found out that that's not the case, that I was owned by my practice. Now, I want to make sure nobody misunderstands. I loved chiropractic. I loved helping people. Most chiropractors, don't do it for the prestige. They do it because they really love to help people. And so my wife and I had a really successful practice. We probably averaged 300 patients a week the whole time we were in practice. We made $30,000 a month, but we were not residual. And again, I wanted to be able to help people, but I wanted to be able to have some leverage to be residual as well. And that's one of the things network marketing gave us that chiropractic just couldn't give us. We still get to help people, but we have leverage now. We have residual income. And as a chiropractor in 17 and a half years, I probably had just about every network marketing company that dealt with nutrition would come through our doors and try to hand Jill a flyer or a brochure or a video, not knowing that she was sleeping with the doctor. And they would sometimes be rude with her. Sometimes they'd try to be bullyish or salesy with her. Sometimes they would walk in and go, "Oh, I need to talk to Gary. We go way back. We're great friends." And she goes, "Well, if you were really friends, you'd know nobody calls him Gary. So see you later." She would always kind of buffer me from all of those things. I would take a look at some of them, but I was never intrigued enough, allowed me to open my eyes enough to take a look at the opportunity. Obviously, the beginning, it was all about, for me, the science. As a chiropractor that needed my patients and my patients' respect in order to feed my family, it was something I was not willing to cross. And so I had to have a product. In fact, I never had any nutritional supplements in my practice ever until Protandim. And then all of a sudden I put Protandim on the shelf and everybody starts asking my wife, "What's the deal? Is he endorsing a supplement right now?" Because it was something I had just never done.
Dr. Skip, I think so many chiropractors and other medical professionals can relate, because you do have just about everybody go to you. You're this big target market, right? And
Yep.
it is, and putting your name to something is really important, because that's your credibility as well.
Yes.
So can I ask you, how did you get the name Skip?
Yeah, my parents were divorced when I was very young. Actually, I'm sorry. It comes from Skippy the bush kangaroo. You guys
Really?
Yeah, you're down under. No, it doesn't. No, but I found out that Skippy the bush kangaroo is a big deal down in Australia. My parents were divorced when I was very young, and my mom hated my dad, and I'm a junior. And so she's like, "I am not calling him by that man's name." And so she got together with my uncles. They all got drunk, and they had a name party. And it came down to two names: Skip, because I was always wearing a sailor hat because I wanted to be in the Navy like my grandpa, and Spider, because I was always crawling up over door frames and all over the place. And so I'm kind of glad they stuck with Skip.
That's really cool. I love that story. So Dr. Skip, tell us, how has your life changed since you found Protandim? So not just in the business side, but actually physically, have you seen any changes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. First of all, if you ask my wife, and you guys all know my wife, I'm actually probably regressing as far as maturity goes. I've become more immature taking Protandim. But there's no question it's done. It's changed everything. As a matter of fact, I was a real healthy guy before. I wasn't a guy I didn't have a lot of illness. In fact, I was taking no pharmaceutical drugs. I have never. And so I wouldn't say that, after 30 months, my life had changed dramatically. It's not a super demonstrable product. I don't think you can't feel your cholesterol levels, and you can't feel your oxidative stress. Certainly over time, though, you do feel the accumulation of oxidative stress. And so my two testimonials, and one of them is quite common, by the way. My first testimonial happened to me really about 6 or 8 months in. I went to the dentist, and he started doing my receding gums, the test, where he goes 3, 4, 3, 3, 5, 5. And he does about 5 teeth, and he goes, "Oh, wrong chart. I got the wrong chart, because that one was a 5 and now it's a 2. And she goes, "No, you got the right chart." And I didn't know what to tell the doctor at the time. But about 2 weeks later, we went to lunch with McCord and the Colorado Rockies, the ownership of the baseball team. And McCord said, "Yeah, we just got a study showing it lowers human inflammation." And I said, "Interesting, because I went to the dentist," and he goes, "Gum disease is an inflammatory disease." And so that was really my first testimony. And then my doctor, my dentist, started taking the product. The second thing that happened to me is something that I probably hear as we go out and travel more than I hear anything else. I mean, sure, we always hear the stories about, all the diseases. But the thing that happened to me that I hear the most of is that I started to dream every night and vividly. And that, we all know that's really healthy. When you dream vividly, it's really, really healthy. And so that's the number one people people say to me as well, is that they're dreaming and remembering their dreams. And that has absolutely happened to me, is that I've been dreaming vividly. After having taken it for 9 years, like I said, I feel more immature than when I started. So something's working.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I didn't know it's a healthy sign if you dream, because it's certainly something that is happening to me every night. I dream, I wake up, I feel like I've actually lived another life, and I can remember all the details. So yep. I thought there was something wrong with me.
No, good for your brain.
Great, that's a good sign. So, Dr. Skip, who introduced you to Protandim?
It's kind of a funny story. I met Tyler and Marcel when they were in the previous network marketing company called Zuri, and they left Zuri when they found out something with that ownership was stealing from the comp plan, and so they started looking around, and they ended up down in San Diego with our original CEO, a guy named David Brown, who was a patient of mine for a long time before he moved to San Diego. And they start talking to David, and they're like, David's got this product, Protandim, that they're thinking about taking to network marketing. And they said, we'd really like you to talk to this buddy of ours out in Denver, this chiropractor, because, you know, about what he thinks about the product, and maybe he'll come on board with us. And so they said, it's Skip Campbell, Skip Campbell. And David Brown started laughing. So they go to give him our number, and he goes, hang on a second, I've got it in my cell phone. And he just dials us. And they're all like, how in the world in San Diego, the last person you think he's going to know is us? So he calls us up, and he starts asking about Jill and asking about all our kids. And they're like, what? How do you know all? Anyway, long story short, it was Tyler and Marcel and that original CEO, David Brown. And what they did was, if you listen to Jill's story, they said, listen, here's the ABC primetime video. Watch this. We're coming to your house in 2 days. Gather as many people as you can. And so we had probably 30 people at our house. It was the first meeting in Colorado. We got to be lucky enough to be distributor number 12. We're the 12th distributor in this company.
Oh my gosh, what an opportunity. Dr. Skip, tell me, what is it about Protandim that stood out to you? Because as you mentioned, every person comes to you and says they have a magic little pill. What was it that made you look?
When I saw that, when it was the science. The first thing is the claim ABC Primetime made, which is that it could lower oxidative stress. Now, a lot of people might not know what oxidative stress is, but as a doctor, I knew exactly what oxidative stress was. And I knew that oxidative stress is what ages us and causes, by definition, then all diseases related to aging. And it's a giant market. I mean, I used to say you can't go into a supermarket and swing a dead cat without hitting something with an antioxidant in it. It's all wasted money because they don't lower oxidative stress. And so in the back of my head, I knew the reason we take any and all vitamins vitamins, is to lower or to increase our lifespan or our health span. And I knew when I heard that it lowered oxidative stress, that it was the most important product on the planet. I looked at my wife and I said, if that's true, it's easily the most important supplement in the world. And so I went down and did a bunch of research on the medical library. And then I decided I'm going to take it forever because I want to die young at 96 years old. That's what I want to happen. And so obviously then we had one peer review. Now we've got 24. We've got 24 peer reviews. And the thing that is really intriguing about this product is that it works in everybody who takes it. There hasn't yet been one test subject that's taken Protandim and not had a reduction in oxidative stress. What's really interesting is I don't care whether the subject is a human, a horse, or a mouse. They all have a reduction in oxidative stress. And to me, that is exceptional. And if you go to the internet, if you go to PubMed.gov, where the US stores all its peer-reviewed research, you won't find another supplement anywhere with a single peer review saying it can lower oxidative stress. And yet we've got 24 of them. So it's easily the most important. I hate to call it a supplement because it's not a supplement, but it's easily the most important thing you can take on a daily basis to guard against age-related illness, in my opinion.
So you've just said it's not a supplement. So what is it?
Well, this goes maybe a little to the science, but more to the business. If you're really wondering, a supplement is defined as our diet lacks something. Let's say that we don't eat any vitamin C, and so we go out and buy vitamin C to supplement our dietary intake of vitamin C, and that's where the entire supplement industry comes from. Your body's not lacking turmeric, ashwagandha, bacopa, green thistle, or green tea, or milk thistle, but it activates a pathway in our cells called the nerve 2 pathway, which alone makes it the most important thing that you can put in your mouth. And so we're not classified as a supplement. We're classified as a nutrigenomic. We do not supplement anything that you're lacking in your diet. We activate genes in every single cell in your body. And as a result, we have this ability to lower oxidative stress. But as far as being in a business mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, it takes our competition and narrows it down greatly. One of the reasons, and I think network marketing products have good products, but tell me why is Visalis vitamins better than Isagenix vitamins, better than Advocare's vitamins, better than Amway's vitamins, better than Herbalife's vitamins? You know where I'm going, Melaleuca's vitamins. They're all just vitamin supplements and they're all good. we are not a vitamin supplement. We're a nutrigenomic. We're a Nerve2 activator. And right now we're the only Nerve2 activator in the world, and we're protected by 6 worldwide global patents. So we created a category, and we're the only product in that category, and we're protected. And anybody that even tries to get in there is 24 peer reviews behind. So that to me sets us apart, not only as something that you want to consume, but then as something as a possible business. To me, that's incredible.
Yeah, look, as an entrepreneur, what you're saying to me now makes me just so excited, because being first in market, we have created a new category called nutrigenomics, and there are thousands of supplements out there, Dr. Skip, but there's only one activator that I know of. And so we're at the forefront of a complete new medical breakthrough. Is that right?
That is exactly right.
Awesome.
And by the way, it's a massive breakthrough. There was a study done at the University of Texas Health Science maybe 8 or 9 years ago on just Nerve2. And the doctors at the Texas Health Science Center said that they believed that Nerve2 would be proven to be the gatekeeper of species longevity and the guardian of health span. And that is a tremendous sentence, because they defined health span as not just adding years, but adding healthy years. And so it's more than just living an extra 5 or 8 or 10 years, but living them healthy. And then the National Institute of Aging here in the United States, the National Institute of Health published a study recently that said it's the only supplement, I hate the word, they used it, the only supplement they've ever tested since their inception in 1999, proven to cause mammals to live longer. And we don't need another study now. I mean, that's the reason we supplement. That's the reason we put things in our mouth, drug or supplement, to live longer, healthier. I don't know anybody that takes one to make them die earlier. We all take them because we want to live longer, healthier lives. And the government, U.S. government, just said this is the only one they've ever found that can do it, our product Protandim. So why anybody would waste a single dollar on another supplement before taking this one is beyond me.
Dr. Skip, you know, many companies, like you mentioned, Usana, Isogenics, they all claim to have science. They all claim that these studies prove it works. This study you're just referring to now, did LifeVantage have any part of that? Did we pay for the study?
Nope, we didn't. And here's the kind of the crazy thing. Whenever a company tells me, and they would come through before, I'll just pick on one. It was Juice Plus. I think Juice Plus is a great product. And they would talk about all the science. And then I would go to PubMed.gov because I was a doctor and I couldn't find any science on Juice Plus. So they do what you call borrowed science. Either their scientists just do it in their lab under their conditions and paid for by them, or they did borrowed science. An example of borrowed science would be, well, we've got vitamin C in our product and here's a bunch of science on vitamin C. That's not the same thing as having a science done on your particular product. And so while LifeVantage did contribute to parts of the first 3 studies, the other studies were paid for, like the heart study was paid for by the American Heart Association and not by LifeVantage. Now, as far as the NIA study goes, cute story. I was actually sitting in Darren's office, and we were just chatting in corporate down in Sandy, Utah. And he gets a phone call. His secretary pops on and says, Darren, you got a phone call. He said, I'm with Skip right now. Can you take a message? She goes, no, I think you're going to want to take this one. And so he gets it on, he puts it on speakerphone, and he gets this message saying, hey, we're about to publish a study, the NIA, showing that Protandim is the only supplement we've ever tested that can slow. We've been studying it for 6 years. I'm telling you now, I was sitting there. Darren had no idea the study was even being conducted. And so it was a total and complete surprise to him that even came through. And I was there when it hit him. And so, no, to answer your as long as possible, we didn't know about that study. We had nothing to do with it, and it just hit us kind of. Thank God it was good.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps listening to that because I didn't know that story. That's pretty amazing. So, Dr. Skip, what results did you see in your patient? You said that you stopped it in your practice. What results did you see?
Well, whenever a patient comes in, we would give them a treatment plan. With chiropractic, it would consist of adjustments and exercises and physical therapy and traction or whatever. And then I would always recommend it because every one of my patients had inflammation, fibrosis, and oxidative stress. What we would see is that if you could get about half your patients to be compliant, meaning they will do what you tell them to do, they will all get better. If you could get half of them to be compliant, you'll have a thriving practice. Out of 103 patients that we put on Protandim, after 4 years, two had dropped. So my compliance among the patients was over 98 or 99%. My only answer has to be that they saw the value in continuing to take a $45 a month product, for years. And so that, obviously they would all tell you, they felt differently, but anecdotally, not, and something that I had never seen before in any practice, to have that sort of compliance treatment plan.
Yeah, that's massive. That's almost 100% of them staying on it. That's
Almost
really
100.
huge. Yeah. Can you please explain to our guests on here, just shortly, what is oxidative stress and why should we care?
It's if you care about your health, you got to care about oxidative stress. So you were rusting from the inside out from the day you hit puberty, probably till the day we die. We go through two phases in our lives. We start the first phase by growing, and we're not aging, we're growing. We're turning over cells with newer cells, and we have growth. And just, I think, like in our personal lives or our business lives or in our personal development lives, if you're not growing, you're dying. And so what happens is we hit, whether it's skeletal maturity or puberty or whatever, we hit a certain time in our lives when we stop growing now, and then we start to die. What happens physiologically is our body has the ability to fight free radical damage when we're younger that it lacks when we're older. And so when we eat foods and burn those foods for fuel, just exactly like your auto does, when you put gas in your car, it burns a carbon-based fuel, by the way, just like food, and turns that into mechanical energy to move your car. Your body takes the food that you eat, a carbon-based fuel, and turns it into mechanical energy to power your body. What comes out of your tailpipe is oxidative stress. Gross analogy, but every single cell burns those fuels. Free radicals are created, and those free radicals start to damage us over time. Prior to LifeVantage, we thought we could consume antioxidants. Now we know you can't. And so that oxidative damage damages our cells, damages our DNA. Our DNA is the replicant for our cells. And so we start to reproduce damaged cells. The only thing that can walk back that damage is known to man right now today is Protandim. And it can get us back to where we were when we were young. We can lower oxidative stress in humans 40% after just 30 days. And that gets us back to a manageable amount of oxidative damage. Our body actually uses oxidative stress to fight certain diseases and certain bacteriological processes. So we got to have a little bit of it, but we don't want to have too much of it. And so if you care about your health and the health of your loved ones, you have to try to find a way to manage oxidative stress. And right now, the only way to do it is with our product, which, by the way, also goes now to our business model or entrepreneurship, which is, man, you guys have a secret that everybody needs and nobody knows about.
Absolutely. Dr. Skip, a lot of people in Australia eat healthy. They exercise, they are into, even vegan, a lot of raw food, healthy foods, drinking pure water, and they believe they don't need Protandim. They don't need to reduce their oxidative stress. What would you say to them?
They're wrong. They're doing those things, I would assume, because they want to live a longer, healthier life and health span, which is defined as years plus health. The problem is that when we're not growing, our body starts to decrease its production of these important antioxidant enzymes. And so I bumped into many people who thought, well, listen, I eat a very, very healthy diet. And I would say, okay, are you burning that healthy diet for fuel? And if the answer is yes, then you're creating free radical damage. And so there's just nothing else you can do about it. I mean, if you look at that release of the study showing Protandim lowers oxidative stress, they've checked everything else. I mean, they've looked at resveratrol, they've looked at omega-3s, they've looked at all of these other components that people believe slow the aging process and found none of them to actually do it. Healthy diet alone is not enough. And I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons is because no matter what they do, no matter how healthy they live, no matter how healthy they eat, they're still combating a couple of things. We've got nutrient depleted soils, that even the healthiest diets are being grown in nutrient depleted soils. Even the healthiest foods are being grown in contaminated soils or transported through contaminated air. We don't have the same atmosphere that we had 250 years ago. We've got pollutants in our atmosphere, pollutants in our water. We've got pollutants in our pocket. And I don't care how well you eat, those things are damaging your body. And so the only way we have found so far to lower that is through the supplementation, I hate the word, of Protandim.
Awesome. Dr. Skip, you mentioned before that you were working hard, long hours, you and your wife together in your practice, and you just didn't have residual. You didn't have that leverage. So basically, if you didn't work, there was no money coming in. So we know that with residual income, whether you're working or not, it's people repurchasing product. That's when you get paid again and again and again. What has that move that you took, the move you made from conventional business into direct sales or network marketing, what has that done for you and your family?
It's given us our lives back. In fact, as that half an hour sitting here with you guys, I'll make $200. I was something I didn't have before. And so if you're one of those people that desires to have your time back, you have to buy it back. There's no other way to do it. Right now, you and everybody that you know sell your time for money so that you can pay your bills. That's how most people get by. If you can't figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you're dead. And so for the average person, I think network marketing is the best way. But what it's done for us is we've now been able to enjoy life together, to fulfill our why, which was that we wanted to be able to spend quality time around the people that we love. I wanted to be able to go to the Bahamas, take my family, come home, unpack, and go right back to the Bahamas if I wanted to. That was our initial why. And if you want to have that life where you have now control over how you spend your time, you have to buy your time back. Residual income is the only way to do that. And network marketing is better because it allows you to have residual income without savings. And what I mean by that, to be clear, is that I made $30,000 a month as a chiropractor. And for me to have leverage, I had to then produce $30,000 a month in retirement savings. Well, because I didn't have a 401 or a retirement account paid for by an employer, I had to put that money in the bank myself. For every $1 million you put away, you're going to make about $5,000 a month. So obviously I had to have $6 million in the bank, and man, that's hard to do. But we all know you can get to the top of this company. I did it in 28 months and make, over $100,000 a month now in residual income. And you got to put a lot of money away to be able to do that. And we were able to do that in 28 months. And so it's really an opportunity. What most people don't understand about network marketing is it's an opportunity to compress time, take what takes people 30, 40, 50, 60 years and do that in compressed time, and then live the lifestyle of somebody with a great residual income if you'll just go to work. The second thing it's done for us is it's allowed us to be us. Together, Jill and I now get to tour the country. We get to go around the world, and we get to help people realize their real potential, where everybody that we've been able to talk to they don't realize their potential because an employer's got their thumb on their head or the boss has got their thumb on their head. And they live in this really restrictive box of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 years. And we've been able to go help those people get their lives back. And so that has been the most rewarding thing we've been able to do together, Jill and I, is to do that.
I love that. And that's exactly my passion too, Dr. Skip, is to help people see that they don't merely have to survive, but they can actually thrive. There are other options, right? And have a real quality of life. What would you say to somebody who's really skeptical of network marketing? Because unfortunately, some people or some companies out there have damaged the industry. But, when when I really started researching and when I found the right company, I've just seen it's the most beautiful family of people working together, helping one another, and it's just the best business model. What do you say if I say to you, I'm skeptical, I love what you're telling me about this product, but I'm skeptical of network marketing?
Well, I ask people to just apply a little common sense. And by the way, this carried over from me from when I was a chiropractor. I would have people say to me, I'm skeptical of chiropractic. I don't know if it works. And I'd be like, it's not a religion. You don't have to believe in it. But let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to a bad dentist? And they go, of course. Well, I said, you didn't just throw out your teeth. You go to a bad dentist, you go, well, I'm never going to dentistry again. I don't believe in it. Well, you just find a better dentist. And so what I would say is if you had a bad chiropractor, you don't throw out the profession, you find a better chiropractor. And then the same thing in network marketing. And so are there bad companies? Yes, there's bad doctors, bad dentists, bad chiropractors, bad companies. But Enron was a bad company and they were not network marketing. And so what I would say is I always ask them a couple of questions. Are there some good network marketing companies out there that do the right thing that make a lot of money? Absolutely. Amway's one of them. Are there people in those companies that make a lot of money? Absolutely. So what do those companies have? What do they have? Maybe if we look for some of those components, we can find a good opportunity for you in a network marketing company. Now, sometimes you'll run into some people who are so bullishly skeptical of network marketing that they just don't want to hear it. And I would say to them, what's happened to you? You've obviously had an experience, a bad one in network marketing. Why don't you tell me? Them to talk about it, and you could then point out the difference between what they had and what we've got, because it's pure foolishness to simply say they don't work, they never work, and nobody ever makes any money. Cannot be an accurate, truthful statement.
That's really good advice. Dr. Skip, I know that network marketing makes the most millionaires out of any profession. So something's got to work, right, if that's happening.
Yes.
Again, just another objection, I guess, if somebody says, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, but I really see the opportunity and I would love to get involved, but I just can't afford it and I just don't see how I can fit it into my busy life.
Yeah, no, we get that a lot. And I'll tell you that what I tell people is don't try to find people the money and the time. You'll have people who say, I don't have the money. I kind of, for the most part, I think with very few exceptions, I mean, there's always exceptions. You might truly be talking to somebody who doesn't have the money, but for the most part, I don't believe it. And here's what I mean by that. If you ask that person, if you said to them, hey, listen, here's the keys to a brand new Mercedes-Benz, a $100,000 car. I'll give you this Mercedes so you can come back to me with $1,000 tomorrow. I'll bet you they'll find $1,000. So what that means then is it becomes a value proposition. What they're saying is, I value that one-time gift of the Mercedes for $100,000. I believe in that, but I don't believe what you're telling me is going to equal that value. And so if you spend your time trying to find them $1,000, you're just trying to chop down the wrong tree. What I would say to them is go back and go over the value proposition that you're giving them to show them that this is way better than I could buy a $100,000 Mercedes every month. And this exact same thing with time. And so honestly, I didn't spend a whole lot of time overcoming objections. I did answer questions. Where's the product made? How does the comp plan work? How was the training? I answered questions. But when people said to me, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, literally I would go, well, you can't do it. Sorry. You got to have some money and you got to have the time if you want to be able to do this. But don't try to find them the money or the time. Go back and go over the value that we're giving them to try to get them to see the value. Now, having said that, I'm going to tell you that in my opinion, you're going to be a frustrated distributor if you try to become a motivational speaker and an emotional evaluator, or a vision creator. None of you guys are optometrists or ophthalmologists, so don't try to give people vision. And none of you are Tony Robbins, so don't try to motivate them. You're going to find you're going to have a lot more fun in this industry. Instead, if you look for motivated people that already have vision, and then it really is going to shorten your life cycle.
What brilliant advice. Look for motivated people, guys, and then show them the vision and work with them. How cool is that? Skip, just to finish off with, can you tell us where's LifeVantage going? So we know we have this absolute, incredible, unique product that's scientifically backed that we know every single person needs. But what is the future besides Protandim for LifeVantage?
Man, that's my favorite question ever. And the reason is because I get to answer it like this. I don't think any of us have any flippin' idea. And that's exciting. Here's what I say by that. We already know what Amway looks like. You know, Amway does $8.5–9 billion a year, somewhere in the order of 45 to 50 times more than what we currently do. Now, we're brand new. Amway wasn't anywhere near $200 million after 8 years. And so the trajectory we're on is tremendous. But we already know what Amway looks like, and we already know we can do that. But what more can we do? I mean, what more do we have to offer? I believe that this is going to be the greatest network marketing company in history. I believe that for a couple of reasons. One is the quality of leadership that we've already assembled, both in the field and at corporate. Two is obviously the magnitude of a product that has no peer, a product that has the scientific validity and impact, meaning some company could launch and say, man, we've got the greatest omega-3 all ever, and be able to prove it. But who really cares? We have a product that we already can show will lengthen the life and health of the person who takes it, and we have no competitors. And so to be on and then by the way, if you know what supplement marketing and what network marketing did for the supplement industry, we're too active. So really nobody knows how big this could be yet. I believe we're going to be much, much bigger. I believe we're going to dwarf Amway someday. And they've got 20 million distributors, and we have less than 60 or 70,000. It's my favorite question. I honestly like to sit around and ponder just how big this could be someday, because I believe that we don't have a clue. I think it's going to be so big that there's going to come a day, Charlotte, where we're all sitting around, maybe on a vacation on the moon, and we're going to be going, do you remember when Protandim LifeVantage only had 50,000 distributors, and now 2/3 of the earth take the product? I mean, I have huge vision. I think it's going to be bigger than any of us could ever know. And so what I would say is if I could leave you guys with one tip, if I could leave you with one thing to think about, I want all of you to have a massive, overwhelming, almost pathological fear of missing out. There was one thing my wife and I had growing when we were growing our business. Now, I want you to think about this. We made Pro10 in 28 months, and this was our first network marketing company. We didn't come from another company with a big downline. We made Pro10 in 28 months. I went to bed every night with my wife and said, did we do enough? Are we growing fast enough? Worrying that somebody was outworking us. And so that fear of missing out was massive for us. And if I could leave you guys with anything, it would be that exact thing. This is going to happen. We're going to be massive. We're going to be bigger than Amway. And somebody who should be big in your downline is going to end up in somebody else's if you don't turn it up a little. If you don't go from 211 degrees to 212 degrees, that 1 degree will power a locomotive. You're gonna lose out. You got to go to bed every night wondering, did I do enough? If you live your life that way for the next couple of years, you can sit on the moon with us, talk about how great this is, and be glad that you didn't miss out.
Thank you so much. Those are such inspirational words. You know, Dr. Skip, I always say to Australia, I know in the next 5 years, we're going to do 10 million in sales in Australia a month. I know that means we're going to have 10 Pro10s. That means 10 Dr. Skip Campbells earning $100,000 a month. I know we're going to help thousands or hundreds of thousands of Australians feel better, have a healthier lifespan, you know, all those good things that Protandim does. And the choice, if you want to be one of those 10 or 20 or 100 or 500 is really up to you. So Dr. Skip, you've reinforced that. Thank you so much. I want to say a huge thank you to your wife as well, Jill, for helping us arrange this webinar with you, because we know you're super busy. We really appreciate it. We love you. Please come to us. Please come see us here in Australia. We really want to see you guys. And I'll end off with this. And you know this chant, right? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. I'll tell you, Pam and Jill are working on our next trip now. So we'll see you guys soon. We love and appreciate you guys.
Love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us today, to our guests especially. And share the word. We will put this recording up. You can send it out, guys. So please share this message. It is a phenomenal one. Thank you, Dr. Skip. See you guys.